Hello, co-opers and listeners. Welcome back to the Co-opcast. We're finally back in this winter 2022, and I have a very special guest today, Leo Liu, Leo, and he's a fifth-year PhD student at UCLA. He's a store crew chief here at the Co-op. He's been living here for 5 years, and he's the CEO and founder of Chilk. We will talk about that and more here at the Co-opcast today.
Thank you.
So, Leo, talk about yourself. Where are you from? What are your origins, and what brought you here to the United States?
Yeah, so I'm Chinese. I came from China, obviously. In the southwestern part of China called Sichuan province. My hometown is Chengdu. It's famous for its spicy food, hot cuisine, hot stuff, and also the hometown of Canada. I came here 5 years ago for my PhD program. Essentially, I got into UCLA biochemistry, so I came here, and the reason why I joined the co-op in the very beginning was essentially I was searching online, cheap housing, cheap student housing around UCLA. There's keywords and searching enough to be like, this is a really cool place. Self-governed, sort of commune style, and obviously very cheap. So at the time, you know what? Let's give it a go. If I don't like the commune style, I can always leave. Rent a house somewhere. But if I like it, well, the price is essentially unbeatable. And as fate would have it, I like it. So I stay here for 5 years straight for my entire program. So yeah, been here for a long time.
That's amazing. Yeah. Me too, man. This place is amazing. You arrive here, you're a little anxious. You know how your room is going to look like. How is the food and people, but then you realize it's so good. I think there's no other better option as for a student here in West LA. We are better than the frats and sororities are better than the student dorms. And if you rent an apartment with if you live in an apartment, you're gonna pay like 3-4 times more than here. And here we have all your friends. You get to meet people from all over the world. It's amazing. Yeah. So good. And I plan to stay here a long time. I've been here for 2 years. It's my third year now. But yeah, I'll be around.
Extension program, right?
Yeah. But yeah, tell me more about your PhD. What's your major? What are you studying? What's your research? What do you do?
Oh, so yeah, I do biochemistry, and my thesis research essentially trying to think about ways to use advanced fermentation and cell-free engineering, basically to biochemical systems to produce renewable fuels and biodegradable plastics. As we're in worse climate change, the human caused global warming, and certainly it requires a lot of creativity and the research into combating this environmental degradation. And so one thing we thought about, what if we can just take the carbon dioxide from the air we already emitted, right? We've pumped so much carbon dioxide in the air and capture them and figure out how to utilize them. That'd be great. So it's really from this simple thought where we start to develop all the key technologies from the upstream, where how do you even capture the carbon dioxide, to the downstream, and now you have capture rate, what you're going to do with it. And so one thing I'm focusing on the downstream, where now we have the carbon dioxide, we can even make it into small molecules, but what are the useful things we can get out of it? And that's where we start to target fuels. Obviously, if you can make fuels out of carbon dioxide and you burn them, it becomes carbon dioxide. It just goes on and on again. The clever listener will be like, dude, that's against the thermodynamics, right? The second law and the first law is say no to you. So that's why you need electricity, external energy to power the whole system, essentially acting as a giant factory where you use carbon as the sink to soak up the excessive energy, like solar and wind. And also then there's plastic. Somewhere along the way we're developing the technology, we realized, there's one molecule in the pathway that was very close to a monomer where you can polymerize it and just basically build a chain to become plastic and stuff like that. I was like, that's pretty useful, because if you can make plastic out of this carbon thing and renewable energy, especially if it's biodegradable, that would be really great. That saves a lot of turtle, being strangled by the plastic we wash down Santa Monica Bay. So that is basically my research by focusing on plastic and the fuels.
Wow, wow, man, nice, very nice. Sounds great. Wait a minute, because you use a lot of terms. Let's rewind a little bit. So you're saying that you can capture the carbon dioxide from the air and transform it in energy. So like a reverse what like cars are doing today. For example, they're burning fuel and releasing carbon, right?
Yeah.
So you do the opposite. You use carbon and for energy and release something else.
Yeah,
Is
on a
that
high level, in omitting a lot of details, yes, omitting a lot of
wow?
details.
That's great.
You essentially, fuel is basically two things. One is the material, which is the carbon, and then it's the energy stored within. We basically try to reverse that by re-energize, like
Mhm.
with the electricity essentially of carbon dioxide. You energize it enough, so there's a whole bunch of reaction that can happen that
Uh-huh.
forms these fuels again,
Mhm.
right? So now the fuels are there with the energy, was essentially energized from the electricity.
Awesome, awesome, man. Yeah, he should have been interviewed by Adrian. He likes this research topics. And our other host, yeah, yeah, it's amazing. Very good, man. I really like that, and I'm trying to like imagine how you would relate to that to your store shift here, because and you're in Chile, because now when we get to there, because you're a businessman too, right?
Yeah,
Beyond your research and all these like complex things that you're doing in the lab and everything, there's this. So yeah, how's that? How come that? Can you tell us about your your short shift at Co-op? You're being the crew chief of the store, right? How did you get there? Why did you want it to be like the crew chief of the Co-op store? And
well, I mean, everyone here in the co-op has to do some shift, right?
uh-huh.
That's a given. I was working in the kitchen for a very long time, like everyone else, and then I was training to become KC as well. So it's like, I've been grinding in the kitchen for like a year and a half. Might as well become a KC. At the time, also store has an opening, and so as well, I might just become a store crew. KC. As simple as that. So then I joined the store crew. When Ryan was her tenure as the crew chief, that's like, I don't know, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 3 years ago. And then I was in the store crew for a long time, and then Ryan left. She graduated,
Okay.
and so at the time, we're basically electing a new crew chief amongst the store workers. So me along with the store workers, I was like, you know what? I was amongst the most senior at the time in the store, and I just became crew chief. It was. There's no
Okay,
drama. There's
right.
there's
You
no
were
story.
promoted.
It's
You were promoted.
essentially there's no story about it. I don't know how to make it sound fun. It's just like it just gradually
nice.
become
Good.
something.
Yeah, there's a career path in the co-op.
A career path in the co-op. Yes.
You start in the kitchen and become KC,
Yeah.
like KCC, and like crew chief and everything.
Yeah, that's
Nice, started a store.
essentially the corporate ladder, the career path of the co-op. You come here.
It's good. It's good to be involved in everything.
Gradually
And
work up.
you did a great work for the store, right? I realized. I remember when you started being the crew chief, like there was like more stuff available, and I wanted. How's that? How do you manage the store, like the items available, and of course like the logistics of like purchasing stuff and expiration date? Because sometimes you have like some promotions, and yesterday there was like Lay's at like 50 cents or 75 cents. Oh my god, I like that. I love that.
Well, I mean, there is the store is a very simple place. It's not like
Yeah, it's not like a Walmart.
It's not like a Walmart. It's like there are 3 shelves in it. Yeah, you can take an eye on what's running out and where's the cheap places you can get them. I become like a coupon clipper. The more coupon I clip, and the more discount I can get when I buy it, and so I can sell it cheap at the store.
Makes sense.
And really, I what when I first became the crew chief, one thing a lot of people talk about is like how to diversify the offering. So we had a contractor. It's called Vistar, Southern California. It's like a large retail distributor center, so you can get very steep discounts buying at a bulk quantity. They ship in like those giant crates.
Awesome.
So that's how we keep it cheap. But then the problem with that is, well, sure, you can get chips for free, like essentially very cheap, but you're buying like hundreds of bags at a time in those giant crates, and if you can't sell them, if people get bored of the flavor, then you kind of right. And so then at times like how do we by scouring the internet for like coupons and just get cheap from like Sam's Club, Costco, these kind of food for less. That's another one. And so if you go to these big block shops, and I mean they are more expensive than Vistar, but still cheap enough. But then now allow you to buy less. So essentially, the minimum order quantity is lower, and then you can buy more varieties, and hopefully, people will like the varied options. That's basically what we're doing. And then also another one is prior, the store only accept cash, so it took effort to get the digital
Oh yeah, I remember
system
that.
going. Yeah, so now we have Apple Pay, Samsung Pay, Google Pay, all this.
Yeah, that
Pay
makes life
whatever.
easier.
Yeah, so now you can use credit card. It was a big deal because if it's cash only, it was really limited. So yeah, that's the two main thing I think I've done in the
Yes.
store.
Awesome and awesome.
And oh, by the way,
Great
now we have also cafe in the store. $3 espresso shop. Late night
good.
espresso shop as well. In the store.
Awesome. Yeah, I love that. And so late in the evening, you don't go anywhere. The store and
We got an espresso machine on the setup, so it's gradually going up. We'll try to decorate a little bit. So right now it's a very simple espresso, cafe style. Maybe in the future we'll probably do a little bit more hot food as well. Get those like 7-Eleven, hot.
Yeah.
All the things we have like snacks inside is hot. That's coming along.
I wanted to ask, just in curiosity, what is the best selling item at the store?
Best selling item. Let me think about that. Kinder Bueno? Yeah, Kinder Bueno has to be.
Oh, really?
Yeah, after Kinder Bueno, it's probably Nutella Go. Yeah, Nutella Go and Kinder Bueno is definitely top two.
Chocolate, like
Chocolate, yeah.
Italian chocolate.
I think it's a small thing, like it's like very. Cool. Oh, and the ice cream wise, Haagen-Dazs and
okay.
and the
I thought it was chips, but yeah,
chips sells, but like if there's like
more
one
sweet
thing
stuff.
that stands out, yes, the sweet stuff like ice cream and Nutella Go definitely stand out. Definitely stand out.
Nice. Yeah, I just asked all this management part and logistics because I'm interested in that too. As part of my major, study that, and I wanted finally to get to the subject where I'm most interested in, which is about Chilk, the Chill almond milk that we sell here at the store and now many places. So tell me what is Chilk? What the idea? Where the idea came from, and where the company stand now, and what are the expectations for the future for Chilk?
Yeah. So, it's essentially co-op startup. In this way.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it's Chilk is it's basically hyphenated chill milk. We play the word there a little bit. And so the original concept of me and Cole is another co-opper who left the co-op. But that time where we're like, you know what, the pandemic is so boring. We're all locked in our rooms. There's very little things to do. And he had a friend who was about to inherit some hemp farm somewhere in Colorado or something. I was like, that was a conversation. And it was brunch time. And we're talking about some strange concept about genetically engineer cows and how the cow milk then come out with different medicinal effects. And I was like, we're like, no, it's like, what if you just splice some plant DNA into cow and so they can the milk would come out as a hemp extract or something like that? Would be really cool, right? I was like, yeah, it would be really cool, but you can't really do that. The genetic engineering cross plants and animals is not possible. And then later that night, I was like, you know what? Let's not do that. And then just search online if there's product that's healthy infusion and stuff like that. I was amazed that there's bazillion Google articles about the blog posts about how to make home DIY, blah blah blah. And I was like, there's no product on the shelf. If people are searching for it and people are making DIY at-home recipes, people want it, but there's no product. Now you see there's a marketing inefficiency.
Wow.
We probably should have started a business out of it.
That's amazing, man. That's
now we have a business.
Yeah, I really like that. Yeah, very nice, very nice. And it's a very funny story. Just thinking about cows making
No, to be fair.
Milk.
Yeah, but to be fair,
because you guys would have the idea to give weed to cows, cannabis to,
No,
to cows, so
no,
they
the
would like
genetic
their
engineer.
milk.
No, the genetic
Their
engineer.
milk would be like
we
with
would, we would,
get you high.
we would stem cell engineer the cow's DNA, so that's actual the DNA necessary to produce.
I'm curious now. What
that's-
happens if you give weed to cows now? Probably their milk would be like full of THC and CBD. But anyway, you
Maybe
guys were
not,
using making a good use of your recreational time during the
it
pandemic.
was recreation time in the pandemic. Well, no, of
And
course,
it became a business.
it's not cow. It's now right now it's the oat and the almond milk.
Yeah.
Because myself, I actually is lactose intolerant, so I actually don't drink any real dairy. I grew up drinking soy milk in China, so yeah, so we also stay vegan routes and especially alternative dairy routes. I mean, look at the dairy farming industry, right? It certainly has a lot of concerns regarding to its long-term environmental sustainability, and depending on how it is managed, not all of them are like that, but certainly there's a huge chunk of the dairy industry do deploy quite questionable ethics standards regarding to animal cruelty and stuff like that. And I have no problem drinking soy milk growing up, so I figure what, alternative dairy I think is the future of to go. And to be honest, the old alternative dairy in the U.S. tastes kind of trash, and nothing compares to hometown taste essentially. So
yes.
we're also trying to recreate the best tasting alternative dairy that try to closely mimic what real dairy tastes like. Despite me being lactose intolerant, I sometimes do eat cheese and suffer the consequences later on. But to be fair, it just tastes so good, right? It tastes so good. That's the taste I cannot give up, right? Cheese, their cheese is so damn good. I don't care if I'm lactose intolerant. And so here again, it's how do you create alternative that tastes just as good as creamy?
Yeah, that makes total sense, and it's a big thing. It's a trend right now, and it's growing and growing. And that's another question that I wanted to ask. What are the expectations for the future for Chilk? What do you think for Chilk in the future? What it's gonna become with the company? Do you plan to expand or have more products or?
I think I'll answer in 4 tiers. So immediate goals, right? And the 1 to 2 years growth strategy, right? And the 5-year plan, and the ultimates of what it will become, given 10 years, 20 years. So immediate goals obviously is all the low hanging fruits, expansion. By the way, we won the whole prize 2021. We got 150K of grants, investments, all that, blah blah blah. Good stuff. Now I'm already over that. Now we're at a stage where we have to get down to business, right? Where serious work has to be done. So how do we expand, taking basically grasp all the low-hanging fruits? Or how do we, go to farmers markets? How do we develop, fresh, unique line of products? How do we verify our product really beloved by the customers? Right, we're talking about the social launch in February 12th with Greek Life in LA. February 19th, the Venice Beach Fair, all this stuff, right? So that is the immediate goal, right? Product development. We're still very much in the development cycle. Despite, yes, we have revenue, yes, we have prototypes selling, blah, blah, blah. But to really be marketable, to really hit the mass market, the big league, I think we're still pretty shy of that. And we need to have a lot of development to go into it. Now, what will happen in the 1 to 2 year time span? Next year, when we have this conversation, 2 years from now, to have this conversation, what is the medium strategy? I think we'll morph our company from essentially just a beverage company into a complete life cycle company with fast fashion and cosmetics and other supplements, right? And that is amazing. Where we will probably brand our company to the Chill Company Incorporated, right? We're talking about how do we build first hybrid fashion that's both in the virtual metaverse but also in universe, that is also coinciding with our beverage and food lineup. We'll probably expand beyond this beverage and wine. And then we're talking about the long-term goals. The long-term goals certainly, I want to be the unicorn. Everyone want to start a company, want to become a unicorn. Certainly I do, right? In 5 years' time, we're probably sure to finish our Series B round. And what will be not only as a US company, and that will be looking at franchising and the global expansion. And what is now you ask me, what's the future of it in 20, 30 years, the long term? Well, To be fair, yeah, probably next Nestle, something like
That's
that.
amazing, man. I love that ambition. I really like that, and it's great for you. I love your story, man. It's very inspiring. From your you have your studies in biochemistry, and you started at co-op as a crew chief, and you created this product, and you want to become like compete with Nestle. Wow, that's like very good. And you mentioned you wanted to create a unicorn with Chilk. Oh, that's amazing, because I have a bonus question for you.
Okay.
And it's what would you do if you received today $1 billion?
If
What
I
would you do
receive
with
a
your life?
$1 billion,
Yeah.
all right. So if Sequoia give me $1 billion right now, uh, it depends. Is $1 billion to me, the person, $1 billion to Joe?
To you, to you.
Oh,
Like
the person.
cash now.
Holy
like
shit!
a,
So it's not like Sequoia, like an
like a
angel investment and stuff like that. It's like I want
briefcase with like $1 billion.
if a briefcase of $1 billion, I'll first figure out why this person's giving me $1 billion. I'm not getting like assassinated or something like that. Right? Usually there's some strings attached to it. I'll be very scared of my life, to be honest. Instead of thinking about how to spend $1 billion, I would try to figure out how do I keep myself still alive. Now, assuming some
Good,
divine
clever.
right, some divine wills me $1 billion, right? Like absolutely no strings attached. I'm 100% safe, at least from the assassination syndicates and stuff like that. And I probably will invest, of course, some of it in joke. I will start my own VC fund.
Wow, nice.
One of my life goals is to be able to start a VC fund that focuses on developing countries, especially developing countries, young startups from college. I feel like young people of this world. And I'm still young, only 27, but like even younger than I, the Gen Zs, quote unquote, so people grew up with TikToks and whatnot. They have a lot of great ideas, and we're complaining about this world become stratified, calcification, right? How this world is governed by a set of old rules that no longer fits the need of modern time. The grave challenges of climate change, grave challenges of global instability, all sort of stuff. And I see that if a VC fund, a global angel investment syndicate that focus on young people, that focus on college ideas, that focus on developing country, there's a lot of potential. Not only financially, as a VC, we're not purely there for the charity. There's a lot of growth potential in these countries. Hence, you can make money there. But also, precisely because the growth potential, that will have the largest social impact in operability, in alleviating poverty, by improving education. It's both a business and a social cost, and that's why if I have that much money, I'll definitely try to work on that.
That's amazing, man. Yeah. Beautiful. Leo, thank you so much for joining us at the Co-opcast today. Yeah, I'll see you around.
All right, thank you. Thank you.
Talk more. All right, thank you. Bye. Thank you for listening, and stay tuned for next episodes. If you want to be interviewed, contact us. If you want to be a host for the Co-opcast, just send us a message and drink Chilk.
Yeah.
Bye.